NVDA is the fourth largest company in the world after last week's earnings, $2 trillion, surpassing Amazon, Google. Let's talk about the earnings. Is it a bubble? And where do I see the stock going moving forward? So looking at the earnings, they absolutely crushed it. Revenue quarter over quarter is plus 22%. You're talking about a rise in revenue of 217% versus last year's quarter. The gross margins are absolutely insane, 76%, and the net profit margin is 56%. Looking at where their revenue is coming, there's been an explosion in data center related revenue. So that's up 409%. That's what's really driving the results year over year. So looking at these hyper scaling cloud companies, Oracle, Amazon with AWS, Google, Microsoft, you have these companies buying an insane amount of GPU chips, and a lot of it is related to the AI boom that's going on. So you have these companies that are buying into the infrastructure and hardware required in order to process all this computing power. Looking at the earnings, obviously they crushed it, but looking forward, kind of what's the expectation? They actually increased their estimate for the next quarter, $24 billion in revenue. So looking at 2025, it looks like they're going to be able to cross $100 billion in revenue, which is an insane feat because just a couple of years ago, full year revenue was just a small percentage of that. People like to compare NVIDIA to Cisco and it being a complete bubble. Looking at Cisco, it still hasn't crossed its all-time high from 2000, but it's a little different. If you look at the PE ratio of Cisco back then, it was extremely high. The forward was 99. If you look at NVIDIA's, it's actually kind of like mid-20s to lower 30s, depending on kind of where their earnings come in over the next year. So it's much more reasonable in terms of valuation. The real question comes from, is the AI hype real, and will they continue to sell this amount of revenue, right? I mean, their customers are these mega tech companies. At some point, will they have their fill of chips, or will the competition come in? That is more of the question. I think that NVIDIA for the next couple of years has a huge advantage over their competitors. I mean, their free cash flow for this last quarter was close to 11.2 billion. They're ahead of the game in terms of market share. They're crushing AMD, they're crushing Intel, so they have the competitive advantage right now. The question is if they'll be able to continue that going forward. I do have a position in NVIDIA. It's around 3% of my portfolio. I have a cost basis around 80. Wish I had more, obviously, but I'm not really buying more. I'm just kind of holding on to my position right now. But yeah, if you enjoyed this analysis, me going through NVIDIA, definitely check out my newsletter that comes out every week. It's free, Hunting for Alpha. You can sign up for it in the link in my bio. And it's currently being read by over 500 subscribers. Thanks guys for watching and have a great day.